Terracactus. KEXP. What's up, Vinny DiMartini in the house? Got Norway in the house. What's up, Norway? What's up, Heidi from Norway? What's up, Vinny DiMartini? In the chat. Don't be a dick in the chat. Let's get into dick music. Don't be a dick. Don't be a dick. Don't be a dick in the chat. Don't be a dick in the chat. Digging on some music here, man. New music by Terracactus. It only takes two to tango. Let some people get here. Good morning, everybody. Come on in. Who is it? I think it was Shadow Band again. Oh me, oh my. Oh my. So we're going to talk about some, while we listen to Terracactus, going to talk about some, by the end of this video, I'd like everybody to kind of understand in their own way what the economic meltdown really means, what it means globally, what it means nationally, what it means to you. What does all this stuff mean? What does the numbers mean? What is crashing oil prices, nationalizing the bond markets, crashing stock market, debt markets? What does it all mean? How does it affect you? How does it affect me? How does it affect these guys right here wearing paper masks, trying to make music and trying to make people smile? What does it all mean?
Discover new music. Get listener-powered.
So we'll get back to that in a second. We'll get back to these guys. These guys rock, man. I love them. Listen to that again. So anyway, Mark's Conte reporting. And it's a black cloud, you know. The black cloud is moving over on people. People are depressed. People are scared. People don't know what to expect, or they're the other way. They're extremely optimistic. Oh, the whole thing is crashing. Opportunity for me to prevail, to get ahead, right? So again, it's open for discussion. Good morning, everybody. Truth and Politics in the house. Alabaster Figueroas. What's up, man? Shadow Band, roll up the sidewalks. I know, it's just what it is, man. But, anyway, we have a good time. We do a video, and a couple of hundred people will catch on to it later because they're not getting notified, and that's the way it works, right? So it's kind of like a live studio version of what we should be doing. So this version of our show today is sponsored by the good Carol Hayes. Thank you, Carol Hayes, a very generous sponsor of this program, and sent me this T-shirt, Fukimal. What does it mean, Fukimal? I don't know. This is what I found when I looked it up. Fukimal was some sort of World War II bomber. I'll take that. I hope it has a good connotation. Also, a shout out to Carol Hayes' mom, Louise, who passed. Her mom passed, Louise. So thank you very much, Carol Hayes, for the fine T-shirt. I love it. It suits me. It's my colors. Thank you very much, Carol Hayes. So let's move right along. So the parks are closed. I just want to talk a little bit about the corona scare here in New York. This is what we're dealing with. When you walk around, you see parks are closed, no group play. Does it mean like they're going to start enforcing the shit, that they're going to start smacking people around? Yo, you, separate. Right? In 1984, where people were getting too close to each other talking, and they zap them, zap. Big Brother is watching. Is Big Brother watching to separate people, to prevent them from, rather than educate the people and tell them, by the way, if you just follow the rules, if you get some alcohol, right, and you wash your hands every time you touch something, right, or wear gloves and sanitize the gloves, and don't touch your goddamn face. If you follow simple rules of the road, you won't get sick. You don't have to wear a mask. You don't have to, just don't touch anybody, and don't touch, if you touch something that is questionable, you won't, and you touch your face, then you're gonna get sick. But if you touch something and you sanitize, if you alcoholize your hands, you won't get sick. And that's just a simple fact from the doctor over at Cornell Medical. So those are the rules of the road, and I'm going to dive into this economic stuff in a second. So Trump, this is fascinating. I found this fascinating. Trump is on TV in front of the White House pitching a 5-minute coronavirus test. This shit is just getting stupider and stupider. Look at this.
Labs, which is right here, and that's a 5-minute test, highly accurate. And I maybe can show that as we listen to.
What does he have, stock in the 5-minute test?
The job he's done and the approval process. We talked about the chloroquine and the hydroxychloroquine just now. I thought that I'd mention it, but Alex is already.
Good morning, Carol Hayes. I just did a shout out to you, man. I got your shirt on.
1,100 people in New York, and it was only the fast approval by FDA that allowed us to do that. It was the 5-minute test from Abbott.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Here's the salesman selling it, but look at Trump over here demonstrating like he's selling Tupperware. Look, Trump is unloading the tester.
Testing with the authorization.
What the hell are we looking at?
Care tests, especially the Abbott point of care test, which the president has pulled out of the box. A point of care test is a test that gives you a result where that can be.
So that's just a bizarre thing, a very bizarre thing. The Trump when the markets crashed the last time, he was telling you to buy the dip. Now he's selling coronavirus 5-minute testers. Maybe they could use it at airports or something. I thought it'd take 2-3 days. I thought they got to swab your ass. Anyway, man, very strange. So again, thank you, Carol Hayes. I see you in the house. I got your shirt on. I did a shout out to you. Thank you for your fine support and the T-shirt, the Fukamako. Fukamau. I did put the thing up. I don't know what it means. Fukamau. So thank you very much. And Louise, Mom Louise in the house. Is always with us, right? So that's a very interesting twist in the corona. I don't know what to make of it. I just thought I'd throw it out there. This is fucking crazy shit, right? So yesterday, I wanted to say something about recovery beds. What I watched when I watched this boat go by. You know, it's like you'd say to yourself, "Oh, Conte had a moment of patriotism, and look how patriotic he is. He believes in the flag and the motion of the country." Not really. What I believe is that people are hurting right now, and this is in no way, this boat right here, although it is a full functioning hospital in New York, an extra 1,000 beds in a city of 12 million and 20 million in the state and surrounding states, millions and millions of people got an extra 1,000 beds. It's a nice gesture, but that's all it really is. It's a nice gesture, and Trump gets points for this, right? Because it was something. It was uplifting to see, we're not alone. That kind of thing. That's how I felt about it. I don't think for a second that it may save a couple of people, it may help some people somewhere, if it's even goes into use at all, which I suspect it won't. But nonetheless, it makes people feel good, and that's worth something, right? Rather than deploy it to another country, Trump is about his America First stuff, right? You gave it a hero's escort into the New York harbor, right? All the boats are around it, horns honking, helicopters flying overhead, the U.S. Coast Guard escort, the NYPD. It was a good day. It was a good day it was like, what it reminded me of? It was that time after 9/11 in New York. Everything was so dark and grim. And Rudy Giuliani went to the Yankee game, the Mets and the Yankees or something. I don't know. It was one of the baseball games, right? I think it was the Mets, right? And and everybody criticized him for going out and enjoying himself, going to a ball game. And the effort had the opposite effect. When one of the Mets hit a home run, it's like the crowd roared, and suddenly the spirit of the country came back. And that's what moves like this do. So Trump is, intuitively aware of that. I think that's what it is. I don't think he planned it to be anything more than just a symbol. So that's why it was a good thing. It was nice to see it. It was nice to see it. You may not agree with that, but I certainly believe it. So jack off De Blasio in another in a separate twist. De Blasio is saying that they're going to start fining people for social distancing. I'm going to try to test this, right? Because if I go into the city, if I go into Manhattan, I'm going to start violating people's 6 feet and see if I can catch a fine. Because this is bullshit right here, man. I got fucking, you know what? If you don't, there's no 6 feet nothing bullshit rule unless you're spitting on people or something. Right. It's just crazy, man. So here you go. You wanted authoritarianism. Here you go. $250 to $500 for standing too close to people. Right? Rather, he said, city workers will remove equipment in parks. About closing parks. Right? Still, de Blasio said Sunday he continues to keep city parks and playgrounds open for now. Rather, he said, city workers will remove equipment at parks. What are they going to do? They're going to remove the hoops? The basketball hoops? Come on. If I see a basketball hoop go down, man, that shit is going to be fucking out of control, man. Why, you can't shoot basketball by yourself? I do. I do everything by myself. Mark Conte reporting here. So, welcome everybody to this very heavily shadow banned, censored channel. And for shits and giggles, we'll talk about the election. You remember we had an election? You remember when we had an election and suddenly there's no more election, everything got shut down? Well, I still look at the polls once in a while. And it is fascinating right here to look at this this incredible lead that Biden has over Sanders and Trump. What a fucking joke. What a joke. Do you believe any of this shit? Because I certainly don't. So they're already pairing Biden 10 points over Trump, Sanders 6 points over Trump, Biden in New York, Biden 25 points over Trump. This is just ridiculous numbers. They pull these numbers out of their ass. These numbers are designed for you to look at and say, oh, look, Trump's losing. Trump's losing to Joe Biden. Yeah, right. So I don't believe that shit. So let's talk about the numbers. Thank you. I hope everybody's here. And I got a lot to say. So here we go. So it's 9:31, perfect timing to look at the market. And market opens down 100 points. And you can see my trend line. It's still in effect. And you see how it crashed through the trend line and it came right back up to the trend line. And now it's in bear territory. That's the stock market. All right. Now we're moving into even more troubled times. Because listen, I don't know everything about equity markets unless you're down there and you trade every day. Not academically, not like you have an MBA or you're a professor of economics in a big school. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about if you have to be a super rich cocksucker, a guy with billions of dollars, right? Or you have to work for financial outlets that handle that guy's money. And then you understand. Right? And I've had friends that did that for the most part. I worked for a brokerage firm for a very short period of time. I was not good at selling stock on the telephone. That's what a stockbroker does. I was more interested in trading, and I just never got the opportunity to do it, with someone else's money, so I traded my own. But the fact is that I was in that atmosphere, and I also became, I wrote a book about it. I wrote, somewhat of a book in the 90s about trading, so I know what I'm kind of looking at, but just a caveat, I'm no expert. But I can tell you what's going on. A lot of people are concerned. They hear the nationalization of the markets, the stock market. To some degree, that's true. It's not an announcement. We are now nationalizing the stock market. We are now, and more importantly, the bond market. People discount the bond market because they don't know what it is. They don't realize how much bigger the bond market is. Corporate paper, the treasury markets are, as opposed to the stock market. You think there's 10, 15, 20 trillion dollars in worth in the stock market, but there's probably double or triple that in the bond and securities market, in the treasury paper market. So here's the stock market. It's opening up. We'll keep looking at it, right? It's fun to watch it crash. It's going to continue to go down. But here's the deal, right? So to answer the question, is the Fed, the Federal Reserve, the federal banking system, nationalizing something? Are they nationalizing, quote, the markets? The answer is yes and no. Yes, they are. By them purchasing of the lion's share of anything, that's a nationalization of something. It's a controlling interest. Once you get past a certain percentage of ownership in something, you are the owner. Therefore, if the government, the Fed is buying, commercial paper, bonds, stocks, it's a move towards nationalization of corporate America. Because if for example, if the government owns 51% of Apple, they own the company. They have decisionary discretion. They make decisions in the boardroom. So that's what's basically nationalization is. That's what it is. So again, the big move covers the little move. The big move, Corona, it's going to kill everybody. We're all going to die. That's the big move. But the little move is it's actually the bigger, the groundbreaking, earth-changing, everything about society flipping move, which is the underlying equities. Right? That's the devastation of the market. We've never seen a full shutdown for a month, 2 months, 3 months, walking around the streets of the city and looking around, and it's a ghost town. The stores are closed, everything's shuttered down. Now, again, that's never happened. It's never happened in my lifetime. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, I've seen looting, in the 70s and power outages and every other hurricane. But to see a economic shutdown like this is quite bizarre, quite devastating. So let's just try to figure out some of this. First, we'll look at the bond market. Federal Reserve will buy bonds as needed to calm markets and will buy corporate debt in a series of emergency lending programs. Here's the deal. The number 2.2 trillion. I was saying, they said 2.2 trillion, and it's really 6.2 trillion. Well, the reality is that it's neither. It's infinite. The amount of money that the Fed is willing to print in this crashing, ineffective fiat currency system where they just keep printing and printing money to cover the debt or create new debt and call that income. The interest on the debt is income. It's retarded. There's no basis for it. There's no ground to stand on in a system like that. The only thing that holds it up is the value of the dollar. And when the value of the dollar slips, which is evidence that it ultimately will slip, then we're fucked. Where's the gold? They're saying a run on gold. We'll talk about that too. But here, look at the bond market for a second. Fake paper. There's corporate bonds. There's municipal bonds, muni bonds. There's treasuries, which are T-bills. Right? Federal Reserve determined to try and keep the spread of the coronavirus from devastating the American economy, rolled out a series of sweeping new programs on Monday. That was March 23rd. Meant to shore up large and small businesses and keep markets functioning. How is the market functioning when nothing is open, when nothing is moving around? Everything is based on the fact that, Papa Fed is going to come in and save the day. That's the only thing holding it up, right? And you got politicians are worthless right now. They signed off on this shit. They didn't. They got Nancy Pelosi given a carte blanche. They don't even know. They did a voice vote in Congress to pass all this stuff. They just rubber stamped it. All of the radicals. I told you that Alessandra Ocasio-Cortez would eventually roll over and become a sheep. She's doing it. It's not even. She's coming up for re-election in New York in 2020, and she's rolling over. She's laying down like a cheap rug, and rubber stamping and voting for these disastrous policies. Bernie Sanders too. All the squad, they're all fucking rolling over, man. You're supposed to stand up now. This is the time to do it. You say no. We will not. We need accountability for what the fuck is going on here, and you have to take care of the people first. Let your markets crash. Who gives a shit about commercial paper? People are going to be starving and hungry very, very soon. They're coming for your house. They're coming for your 401k plan. They're coming for your labor. They're coming for you, right? Because there's nothing else, right? That's what this is. That's what's going on right here. So as mortgage markets show signs of crumbling, mortgage markets are crumbling. Why? Because they're leveraged 2, 3, 5, 10, 20, 40 to 1. Companies struggle to sell debt, and stresses plague the entire financial system, right? Because they're fucking leveraged so much that now they're crying, bail us out with the mortgages too. Again, just like 2008. The same thing, right? Because it was the same Band-Aid. Now the Band-Aid tore off. It never healed. And you got the ultimate crash across many, many markets. This one appears to be way more devastating. They're holding it up for now, but that's about to change. Right? When people start getting, when food supply runs out and people are, they just can't, they don't have money. They don't actually have physical money to buy anything. There's also speculation that one of the reasons why the federal government moved and state governments moved to shut everything down is that they were fearful of a bank run, that the corporations were running the banks, pulling out cash, currency, liquidating. And that in itself was a reason to shut down the economy. There's corporations fucking with everybody again. So speculation, but that's what it looks like. The Fed plagued to buy as much government-backed debt as, again, I'm not an expert in this. I'm just one person who kind of knows, checks and balances. I got good intuition. My feeler in this is that we're fucked. All these markets are simultaneously imploding, and the billionaire class is grabbing as much cash, gold, and even fine art as they possibly can, and leaving everybody high and dry. Because where are the safe havens now? Safe havens are food, guns, bullets, land. So anyway, excuse me, getting shortness of breath from my corona. So let's keep going. So where was I? Oh yeah. The Fed pledged to buy as much government-backed debt as needed to bolster the markets for housing and treasury bonds. That's nationalization. The Fed pledged to buy as much government-backed debt as needed to bolster the markets. Federalization, right there. That's nationalization. Federalization. Housing and treasury bonds. It announced that it would buy corporate bonds. Oh, my God. Including the riskiest investment-grade debt. For the first time in its history, that's the first time I've ever heard of anything so ridiculous, that corporations can print shit-grade junk bonds, crap, that's worthless, and the government will buy it at any price. I mean, what's going on here? And they won't give people an extra $20 food stamps so they can eat. Or they make the line so long for unemployment that you can't even get it. You know all that sweet stuff about unemployment? Try to apply. Try to get it for yourself and see what happens. People are online. The website goes down. The phone disconnects on you. Try it. I'm researching it right now. I'm looking into it. And it promised to unveil more, including support for small business in the days and weeks to come. All right, so I speculated that the small businesses they're going to go into a severe debt because they're not getting any bailout. They're not getting free corporate money. They're getting money on the cheap, but not really so cheap. They got to pay it back. And in a shit economy, how are they going to pay it back? You lose 4 months worth of work. All the food, and if you're a restaurant, all that food you had to throw it out, or you had to give it away, or you had to eat it yourself. The small businesses are getting crushed. And they're supposed to, pick themselves up by their bootstraps. Here, we'll give you a little something to hold you over, and then you have to pay us back with interest. But the corporations, no. We'll buy all your junk bonds. We'll buy all your crap paper, all your shit. And, is it a move towards nationalization? I look back and say, yes, it is in terms of finances, but no, it is not, because here's the deal. You don't the jerk offs, the idiots, the stupid head up their own ass Congress and Senate have no idea how to run a bank. They don't know how to run a brokerage firm like Goldman Sachs or J.P. Morgan Chase. They have no idea what they're doing. So even if you have a nationalized system where you own the lion's share of their equity, they could sink you in a heartbeat. They could say, "Oh yeah, you're going to do that, and we're going to do this. We're going to crash you." And what's the federal government should create laws to prevent them from doing it and then throwing them in fucking jail, but they won't do that either. Because it's a very corrupt system, because they're being paid by the very entities that they're being asked to regulate. See the conundrum there? But the point is that the idiots in Washington don't know how to run a bank or a brokerage house or a large corporation like Apple or Microsoft or a portfolio guy like Warren Buffett. Nobody knows how to do that except those guys. So they'll always have a power, they always have the power. The billionaire class is calling the shots. Oh yeah? You're going to tax us? Fuck you. We're going to sink your market. We're going to crash your market here. We're going to take as much free money as we can and enrich ourselves. Because we can. You gave us permission to do it. So the idea of nationalizing without creating antitrust laws to prevent these criminals from continuing to loot the country, in my view, is moot. It's moot. It's a moot effort to do. So the Fed is throwing its full weight of confronting the economic fallout from coronavirus, which poses a severe threat as factories shut down. People lose jobs and the economy grinds to a halt, while lawmakers in Congress continue to struggle to find a fiscal response, making the central bank and primary line of defense. So again, in defense of what I just said, all the Congress can do is say, okay. And they didn't even do it. They voted on this financial bailout nonsense. Most of them weren't even there. And they said from a distance, okay. And the bill went through. And trillions, unlimited funds are now available for this nonsense right here. No questions asked, right? And people say, well, what about the tax money? Why do we still pay tax? If none of the money that are taxes that we actually pay, because it's so minute, it's so minimal in terms of how much fake paper, how much fake money is printed, why are we even paying tax at all? Which is a question that you might want to ask yourself, because there's really no reason for it. Tax money doesn't fund all this stuff anymore. That's what people thought. It's the corporations that's where you're supposed to take the money. Take that money and fund bridges and fund everything else and give people a break. Give them health care. Give them, opportunity. Right? Don't tax the shit out of them and debt the shit out of them, because that's what we have right now. Keep them. That's what's going on, right? So again, just back to the financials. There's a lot of opinion in there, but the bonds, right? Bonds are crashing, and so the government is buying up all this junk paper for one. What do you guys think of that? What's up, Altruist? Altruist in the house. Jason Walsh in the house. Sterling Price. Good morning. Good morning, Sterling Price. Vinny DiMartini on the wrench. Got who else is here? You guys are killing it. Guys are killing it. Bank doesn't know how to run that system. These guys, that's why they have power, because they're running these large corporations. Guys like Lloyd Blankfein and so anyway, Pete Schiff warns Americans are in for a rude awakening. Oh, really? Why? All eyes have been on the stock market in recent weeks, as it has reflected the fears about the coronavirus-induced economic shutdown and the hopes of massive stimulus. It's been quite a roller coaster ride, but Pete Schiff says there's an even bigger problem looming on the horizon. And what might that be? What is the bigger problem? The problem that people aren't paying attention to, the potential destruction of the dollar. So the corporate paper's worthless. The dollar is decreasing. So what happens when the dollar decreases? Meaning that your dollar's only worth 80 cents. Then your dollar's only worth 70 cents and 60 cents because they keep printing more and more. It's supply and demand. The more you have, the less it's worth. If you have so much of something, like oil right now, there's no one to buy the oil because the car, I don't know, for whatever reason, there's an oversupply of oil. Tankers are sitting out in the ocean holding onto their oil. There's no place to even store it, so they just sit on a boat and store it. They keep pumping the oil, shipping it, and there's nowhere to go, and the price goes down. More supply, less demand, the price goes down. So you're going to see that with the dollar as well. And if that happens, if the dollar becomes a secondary currency in the world, then we're really fucked. Then you can't get away with just printing and printing and printing more dollars that's globally accepted anymore. You can't do that anymore. So that's two. The bond, they're nationalizing the bond and commercial paper markets by buying. Within a year, they'll own it all if they keep going at the same rate they're going. And they're saying that it's infinite buying. And just listen to the numbers. I know it's confusing, but this is what it is. Right? This is what people need. This is what the mainstream media is not going to tell you. This is what people are not going to tell you about this. Mortgage lenders demand Fed bailout. Mortgage people, what the fuck? What bailout? Why are you bailing them out? Have I heard? Did anybody hear that they're not going to accept? They're not going to collect mortgages from regular people for another 5 months? Did they suspend mortgage payments for 5 months? No. But the mortgage lenders themselves are online for a bailout. Why don't you cut the people some slack? Start with the people. Mortgages and rents are suspended until this nonsense is over. 3 months, 6 months, whatever it is. Make it 6 months. Be generous. And then the people that were the recipients of that, the landlords and the building owners and such, also get the ability to not pay their mortgage. Understand how it works? But you got to give the people a break. You can't just give the mortgage lenders the break, bail them out, let the people choke. So I say they're coming for your house. While they're getting bailed out, and people are going to be 3 and 4 months behind in rents, in mortgages, and they're going to be fucked because they're not going to be able to catch up. Why? Because they're getting $1,200? They're getting a stimulus check of $1,200? It's retarded, man. So that's what I say, man. Troubled times are coming. It's coming. The whole shit is popping as predicted. Oh, but not for everybody. Here's David Geffen. David Geffen is out in the Samoyas quarantining himself on his $530 million boat. Now, this should piss you off. You want to, in Grenada's. Sunset last night, isolated in the Grenada's, avoiding the virus. I'm hoping everyone is staying safe. Now, this rich cocksucker, right? Guy's probably worth, I don't know how many billions. How many billions of dollars is Geffen worth? $8 billion. He's got an $8 billion net worth, and he's out on there on a $500 million boat floating around, probably fully staffed, he's probably got a doctor on there and a ventilator and a hooker and and a massage therapist and a chef. He's got a guy to drive the boat. He's got a full staff, and he's drifting around in the Grenadiers, isolating himself. The poor rich boy crying like, "Oh, I hope the virus doesn't get me." This is what goes on, right? They don't. Again, the wealthy don't reciprocate. They take it. They hoard it. So, does everybody aspire to be David Geffen, the musical genius? Right? I don't think so. There may have been a time. But where's his generosity? Where are these billionaires shaving off a guy like Bloomberg, Mr. Wealthy Bloomberg, peeling off $2 billion to run against Trump? And he's worth $56 billion. Why doesn't he peel off like $10 billion and feed the homeless in New York City? Or some other gesture like that? No, they just hoard the fucking money. Only when it's to their benefit. That's it. What else? This could be devastating. Amazon went on strike. Workers walked out on Amazon. Good for them. I know people want their products. They want the toilet paper and the fucking mail, whatever. But the fact is that I don't know. I think it's just, again, I don't think it's going to have, it's symbolic. Amazon workers walking out of an Amazon plant is about as symbolic as that boat coming into the New York harbor, saying that it's going to save the world from corona, save New York. Everybody's going to be okay. It's the same gesture. Although I agree with Amazon, but it has to be massive scale. People are out of work right now. If people continue to stop, I don't know. There's no precedence for this kind of stopping in the economy where people just are not working, So I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I'm not so sure that the Amazon workers walking out is going to have the devastating effect on cracking the whip on corporations like Amazon to pay them better and pay more attention to them and make the work environment safer. I'm not really so sure of that because again, in 6 months when people are hurting for jobs, they'll take all these jackoffs that walked out and push them aside, and they'll fill the room up with new jackoffs that'll bow their head and do what they're told. So what else? More. But wait, there's more. Dallas Fed manufacturing survey crashes to lowest level ever. So the dollar is depreciating. The bond markets are collapsing. Treasuries collapsing. Stock market collapsing. Being nationalized. Fed buying it up with fake money. Literally, fake money. Money that doesn't really exist. You have manufacturing. The bread and butter of an economy where we make things and sell them is at the lowest level ever. I don't know what these numbers are, but in a stunning miss to expectations, March's Dallas Fed manufacturing outlook survey crashed like never before, from 1.2 plus in February to negative 70. Negative 70. Holy shit. So manufacturing screwed. What else? This is the largest economic shock of our lifetime, says Goldman Sachs. So there, again, fuck Goldman Sachs. They should have been out of business in 2008. But you've always got to watch how Goldman Sachs is going to react, because they're going to survive. Why? Because they're in the White House. They got Steve Mnuchin, is a Goldman Sachs plant, is in the ear of Trump, directing Trump. So Goldman Sachs has got firsthand. You think insider trading? They're chasing. That was a joke. They're chasing around these senators and congressmen for insider trading, like they were dumping their stock coming out of a meeting. After they came out of a meeting about coronavirus and they started dumping their stock. That's the way Wall Street works. 95% of it is insider trading. God damn it. So the fact that Goldman Sachs is infamously guilty of insider trading and rigging equity markets. That's exactly what they do. They actually, they encourage you to sell while they're selling short. They encourage you to buy while they're selling short. They do all kinds of crazy shit. So here's another fact. This is the largest economic shock of our lifetimes. Try to make sense of this. Over the weekend, we reported that with oil industry oversupplied. So they're talking about oil. Okay? This is the largest economic shock of our lifetimes. Goldman sees negative prices amid oil devastation. So Goldman Sachs has some kind of shady interest in the oil business. I don't know what it is, but they got their hands on it. Over the weekend, we reported that with oil industry oversupplied by a mind-blowing 20 million barrels daily, as roughly 20% of the total global output ends up unused in a world economy that has ground to a halt. Fucking what they're saying in English is that the oil market is oversupplied right now. I don't know why that is, but let's just accept that it is. So there's so much oil, that price is going to go crashing down. That could be good for a little while until it stops flowing, right? Because people are not going to flow. They're not going to give away the oil just because it's cheap. They're just going to sit on it and not pull it out of the ground. So anything that is already out of the ground will come at a cheap price. And then when that dries up, good luck trying to find oil because, maybe the price will go back up. I don't fucking know, man. But that's another sign, right? The crashing prices of oil. Side story, this is interesting. Priceless Van Gogh painting stolen during brazen heist. So this is interesting because people think like, if you steal a painting, there's a Van Gogh painting, priceless, that you can't sell it. That's fundamentally untrue. There's Japanese guys that'll buy it. There's rich Saudi guys that'll buy it up. Rich fucking Arabs will buy the stolen art, put it away for 10 years, and then it'll suddenly emerge on the market again. Oh yeah, that was the painting that was allegedly stolen. And then, did it really get stolen? Did they really own it? Was it really theirs to own? Right? They'll start all that bullshit. And it'll go right back on the market and somebody will make $10 million on it, $100 million, $500 million. So anyway, but what I wanted to say about this is that it is interesting that you watch the fine art market. And it tends when fake paper like corporate bonds and bullshit go down. Also, gold is going to be a hot commodity again. The price of gold is likely to double and triple for whatever reason. But these are what's considered safe havens, and fine art is one of them. So paintings, by Picasso and Van Gogh and historically fine art never gets hit. So as of now, it looks like it's holding its value. This is a starry night. I don't think this is the one that got stolen. Because this one's in New York. I've seen this. It's at the Met. It's at the Met in Central Park. I've seen this, 2 feet away. It's interesting. I think this one right here is the one that got stolen. So fine art is also holding its value, which is fascinating. So anyway, Mark Conte reporting, and what's going on in the chat, man? What's up? Hair pooper. Vonderloo. What's up, Vinny DiMartine? Jason Walsh. Angry Cat. What's up, Angry Cat's in the house. And Carol Hayes. But not completely free of system. Still buy gas, electric, insurance. Yeah. Again, I don't know. I gave you a lot to think about. There's a lot of numbers, a lot of number crunching going on right now. But again, the people are going to get fucked, right? Because when these markets start to dry up, and billionaires run for cover and everything comes to a screeching halt, the only thing that really matters is food and shelter. Right? Is the heat on? Is the water flowing? Is the water on? Is electricity on? Are you starting to shut motherfuckers off? All right, you may rent a building, you may rent an apartment in a building like I do, and the landlord is getting sanctioned, and they shut his power off. Who fucking knows, right? I shut his water supply off because he didn't pay his water bill. Who knows what's going to happen, right? Food shortages. Is that what's going to happen? I heard in Sicily, in the tip of Italy, that they're already running on food. They're running on the markets. They're running at the supermarkets, taking the food and saying, we don't have money and we have to eat. Is America going to come to that? I think it would be much more savage here because there's a lot more people. And, and the rich will send out their squads, their kill squads to knock off supermarkets. We're going to come to a barbaric. Are we at that kind of a place where it's going to be barbaric, or is the Fed just going to keep spending? We suck another 2, 3, 5 years out of it, and I'll say in closing, right? I'll say in closing is this: right? What I wanted to see in 2020. What my vision was is that we could, and I could be foolish in saying this, that we were going to elect our way out of it. We had the answer. The rational answer was to get money out of politics, get a fair understanding of the corporations, to tax them, to take the wealth back and give it to the people in the form of opportunity and social programs like Medicare for all, free college tuition at city and state universities, to bring the military-industrial complex down to their knees. But now we have a different route, and this route is rooted in evil, in my view, because it still finances the same system, the same rotten system, same rotten people. Just give them more and more money, and with the expectation, with the hope that somehow they're going to turn around and reciprocate that money to all people. And they're not. They're giving less and less crumbs. The crumbs are getting smaller and smaller pieces. The government itself says all of this problem, we're going to buy all this junk paper to save our precious corporations that are fucking everybody over, and we're going to give the people crumbs. What are people going to do after that $1,200 is gone? What if they can't apply for unemployment? What if they had no savings? Most people are living paycheck to paycheck. They haven't gotten a paycheck in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month. Now what? What are they going to do when they can't pay the bills? They got that $1,200. If they're smart, they'll use it for food and let all the other bills, go by the wayside. This is retarded. This is retarded living, right? And this lockdown, right, is so unnecessary for us, to protect us. It's protecting them. It's protecting the 1%. That's what the lockdown does. It protects the 1%, not the 99%. We're getting screwed again by not being able to make a living, by being fearful and silent. Right? They're buying our silence. Right? It's like the cheese in the cheese in the mousetrap. Right? Jimmy Dore gave this analogy last night. It's like the $1,200 and the little unemployment money that you'll get for 6 months is like the cheese in the rat trap. And when you take that cheese, the fucking thing chops your head off, breaks your neck. Eventually, maybe not right away. You eat it, you might get a bite or two and feel good about it, and then pow, it demoralizes you, because now you're a fucking slave. Right? Now you're going along with the program. You took the crumbs, and now you're going along with it. You're bowing your head and saying, okay, what am I going to do? Work to the day I die. I'm going to keep working. And the people that can't keep working, they're going to get, that's what coronavirus is for. I'll let the fucking coronavirus take them out. So anyway, Great Depression, I don't know. I mean, yeah, that's what it's pointing to. It's like, well, how do you get out of it? They might be able to buy their way out of it. It depends on how much the dollar holds up. That's the essence of it. That's the biggest takeaway from this, is if the dollar continues to be the global currency and accept it as payment for things, for oil, for, at its current value, right, the dollar, right? Then there's a chance to survive the immediate crises, but not long term. Right? It's going to continue to go down because, and again, young people are mute. Young people are not going to rebel. There's not going to be any rebellion, any revolution. People are just so defeated. They got there's no elections. We don't have a fair voice. Corporations can leverage 40 to 1 and destroy the economy, continue to rape the economy, and even guys like Bernie Sanders is voting for it. Right? He's not even there, and they're voting for it. They're voting to do this again, saying, because there's an unemployment clause in there that we were fighting for. We got everybody unemployment. Yeah, for what? 6 months, a year? And meanwhile, you gave these corporations enough to destroy the economy for a generation. So that's my take on it, man. So stay calm, everybody. Relax. Enjoy yourself. So I'll go back to this song, man. I'm just digging on this music, man. I don't know who these guys are, man. Terra Cactus. Terra Cactus. It's a wild fucking costumes, right? In that case right back there, right? One day I'm gonna pull it out. It's a looping device. I get all these crazy sounds. One guitar, I don't even need a drum. Have a good day, everybody. Shitty guitar sound, but he makes it work. Cheap Mexican Fender Stratocaster. I wonder if those masks fold up and they got like a suitcase full. It's only 2 guys. Two dudes. I'm into simplistic music right now. I'm not even into vocals anymore. I don't want to hear what you have to say. Say it with your instrument. Peace, everybody. Stay safe. Don't eat each other. Mark's Conte reporting.